Let me say something that lead vendors absolutely do not want you to hear. Buying leads is not a growth strategy. It's a dependency, and it's slowly bleeding your firm dry. Now, look, I'm not saying leads are evil. Used strategically as one slice of a diversified pipeline, they have a place. But if you're relying on them as your primary source of new cases, you're one vendor decision away from a dead month. Today, I'm going to give you 10 specific reasons why buying PI leads is killing your firm. Let's get into it. Reason number one, revenue concentration is for amateurs. Here's a basic business principle every serious operator knows. Never let one source control your revenue. That applies to clients, referral partners, and your case pipeline. When leads are your dominant intake channel, you've handed pricing power to a third party. They raise rates, you pay it. Quality drops, you absorb it. They get acquired or shut down, you scramble. The firms that dominate their markets simply own their marketing. They don't rent their growth. Reason number two, the supply chain is hidden. That's your legal risk. Ask your lead vendor exactly how you generate leads. Most will give you a vague answer about omni-channel digital marketing. What they won't tell you, the affiliate networks, the scrapers, the tow truck bribes, the call centers, the consent flows that may not hold up legally. TCPA violations, FTC scrutiny, state consumer protection laws, they don't care who generated the lead. If the consent flow is bad, you, the attorney, are exposed. Thousands of dollars per violation. You don't just buy the lead, you inherit all of the liability. Reason number three, most leads are shared and you're in a foot race. Unless you're paying a major premium for exclusives, and sometimes even then, that same injured person just got called by 2, 3, sometimes even 5 or 6 competing firms at the same time. Your conversion depends entirely on call speed. You're not competing on brand, reputation, or relationship. You're competing on who picks up the phone the fastest. That's not a business, that's a foot race. Shared leads commoditize you. They turn your firm into a call center. Reason number four, you're paying for their overhead, not your growth. That cost per lead number, you're paying for the vendor's media spend marked up. Their sales team commissions, their overhead, their technology, their profit margin. None of that builds anything for you when you own your marketing. Google campaigns, paid search on Meta, SEO, content in your website. That spend builds an asset. It compounds. It works for you after hours, on weekends, indefinitely. Lead vendor spend is an expense. Owning your marketing is an investment. Reason number five, the unit economics don't scale. Early on, leads feel like they work. You only need a few cases to justify the spend. But as you try to grow 20, 50, 100 cases a month, the economics get ugly really fast. Cost per lead climbs with volume. It happens all the time. Close rates typically flatline. Your cost per case balloons. And then you have zero leverage to negotiate because they know you're dependent on their leads. Lead buying doesn't scale. It just gets more expensive. Reason number six, you're funding your own competition. Every dollar you spend with a lead vendor makes them more powerful. They use your money to run more ads, dominate more search terms, capture more of your market, and then they sell it back to you and then your competitors. You are literally financing the entity that sits between you and your clients. You are building their moat, not yours. Reason number seven, quality always degrades and you won't see it coming. Lead vendors optimize for their volume and margin, not your close rate. Over time, the best leads flow to the biggest spenders. If that's not you, you're just getting what's left. Quality degrades gradually. You won't notice until your close rates have been quietly declining for months and you've already paid for it. Reason number eight, it's a black box and you can't optimize blindly. A prospect sees a billboard, hears an ad, Googles the name of a lead vendor, then converts through that third party. The vendor gets all the credit and you just subsidize that conversion with your brand spend and you have no idea. When you own your marketing stack, your tracking, your analytics, your phone numbers, your intake data, your campaigns, you actually know it's working. With lead vendors, you're flying blind and trusting them blindly. You can't optimize what you can't see. Reason number nine, high value cases don't come through lead gen. Trucking accidents, complex multi-defendant claims, med mal, catastrophic injury. Where do those typically come from? Really strong marketing, referrals, reputation, organic search, and more often than not, and here's the ugly truth, brand. Those clients are doing real research, reading reviews, visiting websites, asking for referrals, doing their diligence. They want a firm they trust, not the first one that calls them back. Lead gen is a commodity game. The highest value cases require a real brand that you own. Reason number 10, when you stop paying, you're done. This is the one that should keep you up at night. If you stop buying leads tomorrow, what would you have? The answer is probably zero. Not a list, not an audience, not a ranking, not a content library, literally nothing. Compare that to owning your marketing, owning your Google Ads accounts, Meta accounts, social media accounts, SEO rankings, years of conversion data housed in your CRM, content generating inbound leads daily, a brand people recognize. Rented growth has an off switch. Owned growth is an asset on your balance sheet. So let's bring this home. 10 reasons, one conclusion. Buying leads as a diversification play, good, smart even. But as a primary growth engine, you're building on sand. You're overpaying. You're overexposed legally. You're racing competitors for the same shared inventory. And you're funding the very platform that commoditizes you. The firms that dominate personal injury, the ones with significant market presence, brand recognition, consistent high-value case flow, they have marketing departments. They have agency partners. They have good consultants backing them up. They own everything in their pipeline. The question isn't whether you can afford to own your marketing. It's whether you can afford not to. So if you're ready to stop renting your growth and start owning it, that's exactly what we do at Abogados now to help personal injury law firms across the country. We build marketing systems under your accounts with your data that belong to your firm and your name, not ours or any of your competitors. SEO, paid search, content, social media, intake optimization in both English, but more famously in Spanish. And everything is designed so that when we're working together, you're building equity every day, not just buying another month of leads. The link is in the call notes below, so book a call with us, and let's talk about what owning your marketing actually looks like for your firm. I'll see you in the next one.